If every run you do feels roughly the same, you're probably leaving fitness on the table. Half marathon training shouldn't all be easy, and it definitely shouldn't all be hard. Different intensities develop different parts of your fitness. In this video, I'll show you the 5 intensity levels I use with my athletes, what each one develops, and where they fit into your half marathon training. When we talk about running intensity, harder isn't automatically better. Different intensities create different adaptations, and every session in a good half marathon program should have a reason for being there. I use a 5-level system from level 1 through to level 5. It gives us a simple way of describing how hard you should be running, and more importantly, what we're trying to achieve. Across a half marathon program, we'll use all 5 levels at different times. The key is matching the right intensity to the purpose of the session. One of the biggest mistakes I see isn't necessarily runners doing too many planned hard workouts. It's runners doing their easy training too hard. If I've prescribed a level 2 run, there's a reason for that. Turning it into a level 3 run doesn't make it a better workout. It changes the training stimulus and adds fatigue that wasn't intended. We want genuine separation between easier aerobic training and our quality sessions. That allows the easy days to support recovery and aerobic development while leaving you fresh enough to get the intended benefit from the harder workouts. The objective isn't to make every individual run impressive, it's to make the overall training program effective. Level 1 is our easiest intensity and is primarily about recovery. This should feel extremely comfortable and relaxed. I'll use level 1 for recovery running within some warm-ups and cool-downs, and sometimes during the recovery between harder repetitions. Runners sometimes worry that running this easily isn't achieving anything, but we have to look at the workout within the context of the entire training week. Sometimes the purpose of today's run is simply to recover from yesterday and prepare you for tomorrow. Making it harder can actually reduce the effectiveness of the program. Level 3 is probably the most important. Level 2 is probably the most important intensity to understand, because this is where a lot of your half marathon training takes place. It's our aerobic endurance intensity and should feel comfortable and conversational. You should be able to speak in complete sentences whilst you're running. If you're training alone, talk to yourself. You can even try singing part of a song. If you're struggling to get the words out because you're breathing too hard, you're probably training harder than level 2. For pace, we're generally looking at 81 to 89% of threshold, and for running power, 81 to 88%. This is where runners commonly go wrong. Don't turn your level 2 easy run or long run into a level 3 just because you're feeling good. Level 3 is tempo running, and it's particularly important when we're preparing for a half marathon. This isn't easy running anymore. The effort is purposeful and controlled, and you're going to be much more aware that you are working. For pace, we're looking around 90 to 94% of threshold. I don't see level 3 as an intensity we need to avoid. Planned level 3 training days play a really important role in half marathon preparation. Within my periodisation system, you'll see it becoming increasingly important during the transition quality and final quality phases. We're developing your ability to settle into a strong aerobic effort and sustain it for long periods. Level 4 takes us up to threshold intensity. This is hard running, but it should still be controlled. We're targeting your ability to sustain a relatively fast running around your threshold rather than simply running as hard as possible. For pace, level 4 is approximately 100 to 103% of threshold. We'll often break threshold training into repetitions. Something like 4 by 5 minutes at level 4 allows us to accumulate a useful amount of threshold work while using the recovery periods to help maintain the required intensity and good running form. And even if you won't race your entire half marathon at threshold, improving your threshold can make the intensities below it faster as well. Level 5 is our very hard VO2 max intensity. For pace, we're generally talking around 110 to 120% of threshold. And with running power, approximately 116 to 128%. Because you're running comfortably faster, these efforts are naturally much shorter. You might wonder why we train at this intensity when we're never going to race a half marathon at level 5. That's because training intensity doesn't have to match the race intensity to improve performance. Developing your VO2 max raises your aerobic capabilities that can contribute to making the lower intensities you actually race at faster. There are intensities above level 5 that I use elsewhere in coaching, but level 5 plus, level 5 plus plus, and level 5 plus 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 aren't typically required for half marathon training. The important thing is that we don't simply progress from level 1 to level 5 as we get closer to race day. That's not how my periodization works. During foundation and injury prevention phase, primarily level 2 will help us establish consistency, aerobic endurance, and resilience. During early quality, we'll start introducing more quality to develop things such as speed, strength, and running economy. During transition quality, level 3 tempo running becomes increasingly important as we develop sustainable speed. And during final quality, the training becomes increasingly specific to the demands of the half marathon. We're still drawing from the different levels throughout the program. We're simply changing the emphasis according to what we need to develop at that point. A level 5 workout is not automatically better than a level 2 workout. They're different tools for different jobs. Understanding the 5 levels is one thing. Knowing exactly when to use them, how much training to complete at each intensity, and how to progress that training towards your race is where having a structured program becomes valuable. That's what I've built into the New Zealand Half Marathon Hub Plus. The programs use this level 1 to 5 intensity system alongside my foundation and injury prevention, early quality, transition quality, and final quality periodization. So rather than guessing whether today's run should be easy, tempo, threshold, or VO2 max, you've got a structured program telling you what to do and when to do it. If you're preparing for your next half marathon and you'd like that structure around your training, join the NZ Half Marathon Hub Plus, and let's get you ready for your best 21.1 kilometers.